What is going on, guys, and welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about why Meepo is one of the most broken heroes in Dota and why this hero still continues to be at the top echelon of all MMR brackets. This has always been the best climbing hero in the game, especially if you know exactly what you're doing on this hero, which makes this hero very difficult to play. I think, in my opinion, Meepo is the hardest hero in Dota to play. Some people say Invoker, some people say Illusion carries. I definitely think it's Meepo. I think Invoker is quite easy to play, but Meepo just requires so much micro that it becomes very difficult for you to pick up and requires a shit ton of games for you to get proficient with the hero and get enough value. As if you don't know how to split push with this hero and you don't know how to take separate camps with each individual Meepo, you're not going to be snowballing as fast and as hard as you typically do. What makes this hero really broken is that you have separate heroes that you're able to farm different side camps like an illusion carry, but much better than an illusion carry, as they have much better damage and they have the poof ability. Plus they have given lifesteal, and then you have insane catch with net, and each individual Meepo can poof to each other and they can also net, which makes it very good to control hard to control heroes such as the spirits or a puck. Generally you pick Meepo into heroes like Anti-Mage, Void Spirit, Storm Spirit, Arc Warden, and Faceless Void, as you do very well against these heroes if you're doing well. If you are playing from behind, it does get a little difficult to play against a snowballing Anti-Mage, as Mana Void does a shit ton of damage to all your Meepos together. It could definitely kill you, and it could kill your team around you, so you definitely need to be careful with that when you're up against an Anti-Mage. You could also build Orchid as a very good item against Anti-Mage, and Meepo is a really good Orchid buyer. He definitely benefits a lot from the item. It definitely does very well with him. Heroes that Meepo doesn't do very well against are generally AoE control heroes. Heroes like Elder Titan, Winter Wyvern, Sven, Earthshaker, and Leshrac. Leshrac because he can do so much magic damage with his ultimate and it pretty much hits all Meepos. Again, being AoE, he has an AoE stun as well. It's just way too much damage for the Meepo to handle, so you're not going to have a really good time against that hero. Earthshaker, obviously Echo Slam is an incredible tool to deal with the Meepo, especially if he's not paying attention. You catch him off guard with a big Echo Slam while all the Meepos are together. You're pretty much going to obliterate him and crush him. Sven, obviously because he has the cleave, it's a very good carry matchup for those who are playing offlane Meepo, so it's definitely very solid against the hero. Winter Wyvern, because of his ultimate, he makes pretty much the Meepo either kill the other Meepos or kill his enemy team. It's definitely very strong. One of the best supports against Meepo definitely out there. Elder Titan is pretty much the best counter to Meepo, as he gains so much damage off all the Meepos plus all the other heroes. A good Elder Titan player sees a Meepo and will definitely pick it right away, as they're going to have an incredibly good time against the Meepo. And you can even play mid lane Elder Titan against the Meepo, as it's super strong, and once he attempts to go for a kill, you could definitely not do too much about it, as he does so much freaking damage. You can't really trade with the Elder Titan. It's definitely one of the best matchups against Meepo. And there's others like Huskar and Viper, as they become very difficult for you to deal with as you're a melee hero, so pretty much range heroes do a lot of damage to Meepo. But if you're a Meepo specialist, you definitely know how to deal with the bad counter matchups and know how to get the most value out of the map, but your micro has to be there. But if you are a good Meepo player, it could definitely feel very difficult for the enemy team to counter you in a free Meepo game. Anything can be said about other heroes, but the way this hero gets farm on the map and consumes the entire map, can pretty much farm as unsafe as he wants, as he can just poof the Meepos, especially if he's playing against a low stun lineup. Then he can just poof away every single time. Nothing's going to be able to kill him, as they're lacking stuns, so you always keep a Meepo farming safely and then the other Meepos farming aggressively and taking the enemy's part of the map, and that's definitely going to hinder the enemies, and they're going to have to rotate much more to get some pressure onto the Meepo, as if you let Meepo do whatever he wants, he's going to be 6-slotted in no time. He is the fastest farming hero in Dota I've played proficiently, and it's very difficult to counter him if you don't have the right lineup. If you're lacking stuns or AoE magic control, you're definitely going to be struggling quite a bit, and it's going to make this hero seem broken at times. That is why I definitely think this hero will usually stay along the lines of his current power level, because if this hero gets a buff, he's going to be absolutely unstoppable, and the Mega Meepo just makes this hero a lot stronger. Dig is very good as well. So I definitely recommend the item build you guys are seeing on this gameplay with the Blink Dagger, the Atos, and the Aghanim Scepter. It's a very strong utility build, not a shit ton of damage like normal Meepos go with their Hex, and you can go for Butterfly as well. Or the Diffusal Manta build is also quite strong. I think this build is very reliable. It's very team fight oriented, as you're super tanky. You have the blink to close the gap and be able to poof all your Meepos close to where you blinked. And the Aghanim Scepter is going to get you out of very sticky situations, as all the Meepos stack together and you have so much HP that it becomes very difficult for the enemy team, even if they have AoE control, to be able to deal with you. It becomes a nuisance and will definitely snowball out of control and just take over the game. Meepo on its own is probably one of the fastest heroes at ending the game, as he can snowball super hard. I believe Meepo's power level stands between 15 and 35 minutes. Anything past that, Meepo just starts to go down a little bit, as heroes are getting much tankier, they're doing a lot more damage, and they'll tend to buy Battle Furies, Maelstroms, Gleipnirs, items like this to be able to get rid of the Meepo in an AoE and do a little bit more crowd control damage. And then it becomes very difficult for the Meepo, as it's not a very late game hero. It doesn't really do too well in the late game, as the whole point of this hero is to be able to farm fast around the map, get some rotations in, take towers very quickly, and then end the game sub 30 minutes. That's why this hero climbs super fast, as when you pick it, you're picking it into a free Meepo game or a pretty decent Meepo game, and you're going to be able to win the game much faster. It's going to get your team the win, and you definitely can't play it with greedy lineups such as heroes like Anti-Mage, Phantom Assassin, PL. These heroes that need 3 or 4 items to be online, you definitely don't want to play that with a Meepo. Even though you're kind of guaranteed in the late game, when you have a hard carry like that, you're going to be consuming so much farm on the map, and if your team doesn't have the vision, you're not going to be able to go for these aggressive plays to be able to take the enemy team's farm. That's going to become a really big problem for you, and you're going to be contesting for farm with your safe laner, which definitely doesn't make sense, as they have the priority and you're going to be griefing them. So definitely make sure you pick the Meepo into a good Meepo game, and with a carry that's not super greedy and doesn't need the entire map to farm 3 or 4 items in order to carry the game. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. I like it, would be much appreciated. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you guys think about Meepo. Is this the hardest hero to play in Dota? In my opinion, it is, and I think as long as this hero remains with its current power level, it's definitely going to be at the top echelon of MMR, especially for those Meepo specialist players. There's definitely always going to be a top 5 hero in high MMR, and usually is at number 1 almost every single week. Sometimes it goes down to number 3, but then it comes right back up. I believe it has like a 56% win rate, which is absolutely incredible for a hero. Its pick rate is kind of low just because of the nature of Meepo and how difficult it is to play. But if you guys ever want to pick up a hero that definitely has a super high skill ceiling and super high potential to win games early, Meepo is definitely one of those heroes. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.